How is it to be young and live in Israel today?
It's tough.
Why?
It's tough. Financially, it's a very tough country to live in. The cost of living is high and the average salaries are not that high. It's tough to find a job right now in certain sectors because they're saturated with the workers. Because if there's a sector that's going well, everybody's going to study that and get ready for it. So within a few years, there are too many workers in that sector. It's difficult. It's also difficult security-wise. It puts pressure on the young people. It basically dampens their hope, especially in the last few years of the conflict that we had here.
How is the possibility to study at the university? I mean, can you do that without having parents paying for it?
It's very tough. If your parents are not helping you, it's very tough to go to university here.
They don't give any money from the government?
Very little. I mean, you can get grants. It's hard to get grants from the government. You can get student loans, not that easy, and usually people or live with their parents while they're studying or work almost full-time, which is also very difficult, doesn't leave you much time for studies, take loans, their parents help them with money. It's doable because obviously a lot of people are doing it, it's just tougher than other places.
As you know, the picture of Israel for many people in the world, especially the young ones, is that it's a country with terrorism, with danger. You can't go to Israel, it's dangerous. What do you think? Is that a right picture?
I think it was dangerous for a few years when the conflict started. Obviously, you don't want to go to a country which has suicide bombings almost every other day, or incidents, security incidents. I think that when it's all that you see on the news about that country, it's even scarier because that's all you know about that country. But it's behind us. I think that it's a lot safer now. We pulled out of Gaza. We are going forward with the peace process, with pulling people out of the territories. We're showing good notion about that, and it's just a much safer place right now, and it's a great place for a tourist to come to.
Have you ever had a thought of leaving Israel because it's dangerous? I mean, you have your mom in Canada.
Yeah. No, I did leave Israel 4 years ago, but I didn't leave it because it was dangerous. I left it because it was stressful. Which obviously stress was created by the danger here. It was stressful leaving every day for work in the morning. You didn't know if you were going to come back alive or healthy. I was living in Tel Aviv at the time, and there were a lot of suicide bombings in Tel Aviv. It was very scary. So I just decided, okay, I need a break, I need a bit of calmness in my life, and I left for Canada.
When you talk with your friends today, and obviously you must talk very much about that time, do you think this stressful situation has made you different from other young people in the world?
Yes, I definitely do.
In what way?
It makes you worry a little less about tomorrow and more about today. It's sort of like the carpe diem syndrome, seize the moment, seize the day, have as much fun as you can today. And we are fun-loving people. We love going out, we love living well and using the money we have today, and that's why a lot of us are in an overdraft in the bank. But we have much more fun. You see Israelis all the time out on the streets and going to bars and nightclubs and traveling the world also, families traveling the world. We're very extroverted and not introverted. We say what we feel now because tomorrow we may not have a chance to do that.
And it's another thing also, all your parents, I mean to the young ones, all the parents come from somewhere in the world. I mean, there is a melting pot of different nationalities. Do you speak very often with each other about where do you come from? Where are your roots from?
Yes, actually it's very Israeli to ask where your origins are from. Because even if your grandparents or great-grandparents came from somewhere, a lot of people still feel some sort of sense of belonging to that little community. So if it's Moroccan, or if it's Polish, or if it's Bulgarian, or Russian, because all of our parents and grandparents come from all over the world, and very few have been here for over 3 generations.
Do you feel connected to, for example, Canada? I mean, your mother is obviously a Canadian, and now you have been nearly staying in Israel the whole life, but do you feel any connection to Canadians?
Yes, I do.
In what way?
I feel Canadian. Even though I'm strongly Israeli, I still feel Canadian. But I was raised in a very Canadian home.
Yeah.
My mother, you know, we spoke English at home. We had only English books and music in English. So I do feel a strong sense of Canadian. My family goes back in Canada 300 years. They have strong roots in Canada.
So if someone asks you, are you Jewish or Canadian, or are you Jewish Canadian or Canadian Jewish? What do you say?
Jewish, first of all.
First of all, Jewish.
First of all, especially when I'm in Canada, because then I feel much more a minority. So it makes me feel more Jewish when I'm there. For instance, in Israel, I will not go to synagogue. I've never been in synagogue in Israel, but when I lived in Canada, I used to go there once in a while.
Why do you think it's like that?
Because here I don't feel a minority. Here I don't need something external to make me feel Jewish, and there I feel like I'm a minority.
But you could if you want use that you are Canadian and say that I'm Canadian, and then it's come up. Okay, I'm also Jewish. Why do you think you have the feeling that the Jewish will come up and you want to be minority? I mean, is that a good thing for you?
Yes, it is. It's more unique, it's more special. It's also something I'm proud of, because I was raised to be proud of that. I was raised to be proud of the fact that I'm Jewish, raised to be proud of the fact that I'm Israeli. And I mean, I also have an American passport. My father's American, but I never talk about that.
But you were never raised to be proud of to be Canadian?
Yes, I was a little bit raised to be proud to be Canadian, but less. It was always an emphasis on Israel because we lived here and because my parents chose to come here and be Israelis. It was a choice that they made for themselves and for me, so obviously it's something we took on ourselves. And it wasn't naturally that they're Israeli. They took it on themselves, so it's something that they're proud of too. Because the existence of Israel is very fragile and it's in question. Israel may not always be here. It certainly wasn't here 70, 80 years ago. It's only 58 years old. And it's so important for Israel to exist. Our parents instill in us the pride, because if there's no pride if you're not proud to be Israeli, then Israel may not continue to exist in 30, 40 years. People won't mind leaving it and they won't want to come back, and Israel may cease to exist. I think it's very important to be proud of it, to want to be a part of it also. The crime rate here is very low, generally speaking. Youth crime is very low, especially in relations to the European countries, to the States. We have a very low youth crime rate. I feel very safe to walk around Tel Aviv. And Tel Aviv is the Israeli metropolitan. I wouldn't feel safe walking in. I've walked around New York City, and I've walked around Toronto, which is considered safe in Canada, and I've never felt as safe as I do in Tel Aviv. Even if it's 4 o'clock in the morning and I'm on my own, a young woman, which is, you know, the best target for these crimes.